So I'm a Pisces ascendant. My father was hospitalized for a week, had to stay in the hospital having visa issues. Can you check my date of birth? Okay, so now, first thing I want to say is that it's not surprising you mentioned your father's hospitalization and visa issues. When I looked at your chart, those are actually the areas I would have expected to be under pressure right now. Okay, you're a Pisces ascendant, yes, and you're running the Jupiter Mahadasha and Saturn Antardasha. On paper, that sounds good because Jupiter is your ascendant lord, but Saturn is the planet currently, you can imagine, steering the ship day to day. And Saturn will bring delays, responsibilities, your worries, and situations, and bring you situations that force you to be patient. Okay, now here's where I think why this happened. Your father is seen through the 9th house. Now, foreign travel visa, immigration matters, your long distant journeys are also connected to the 9th house. So, right now, you're going through the Saturn period, and Saturn is in your 9th house, in the birth chart. When Saturn activates the 9th house, it brings burdens connected to your father, legal matters, paperwork, your travel plans, or things that simply move slower than you'd like. So that doesn't mean something terrible is happening. Okay, it means those areas demand your attention. So Saturn wants you to focus on them. Saturn is giving you problems in those areas because it wants you to pay attention to them. Okay, now the good thing is that Jupiter just entered Cancer. And for you, Pisces ascendant, Cancer is your 5th house. From there, Jupiter looks at or puts his aspect on the 9th house. Okay? In simple terms, Jupiter is now trying to help the exact area of life that Saturn is testing you. Okay? So what does that mean? It means I don't see this as a permanent problem. Okay, I see this more as a difficult phase where your responsibility suddenly just landed on your shoulders all at once. Your father's situation, the stress, the visa concern, they all fit the timing of the Saturn period much more than the Jupiter one. Okay, so the thing to watch out for over the next few weeks is frustration, because Saturn likes to make people feel like nothing is moving, even though progress is very slow, is very you cannot observe it. Okay, you can't see it happening, but it's definitely happening in the background. Try not to make major decisions out of panic. If I had to summarize your chart right now, I'd say the pressure is real. Yes, the delays are absolutely real, but I don't see this chart like it's collapsing or anything. Okay, I see a chart which is going through a Saturn's lesson, while Jupiter is slowly opening a door in the background. So my expectation is that things should start feeling more manageable from late June into July. Okay, even if not everything is fully resolved yet. Okay, and I think things are gonna start looking better from here. Hopefully that's true. And I would say take care of your own health as well. When Saturn is activated like this, people often become very focused on solving everyone else's problem than their own. They will forget themselves. Okay, hope that helps. Take care. Quite interesting combination. If you're a Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, and then Scorpio rising, then you're definitely carrying a lot of this water energy. Jupiter moving through Cancer, it tends to support anyone with the water signs. Okay, but the exact results will depend on your own birth chart and your current time period, the planetary time period that you're going through, rather than your sun sign alone. Okay, now if you've been noticing more focus on your family, your home, your emotions, do let me know. Healing all situations since June started. I don't know. Are you focusing on these things? Okay, all the best. Please tell me something is happening. I'm exhausted waiting for a miracle. Now, I hear you. One thing that I've learned from life, reading charts, experiences, is that miracles will not look like miracles at first. Okay, Jupiter only recently changed signs, so give things a little time to unfold. Okay, now I would love to read your chart, but I don't have your birth time. Okay, so if the birth time is not known, the chart is not going to be precise. Kenneth, thank you for sharing your birth details. I took a look at your chart, okay, your current planetary time period, and the current transits, and a few things stand out. Okay, the first thing is I noticed that you're currently running the Ketu Mahadasha, okay, which started in December 2023, okay, and it will continue all the way till December of 2030, 2030. Okay, Ketu is a headless body, okay, if you didn't know, and its effects are mostly negative. Ketu, okay, this headless body is sitting in your 7th house. Okay, the 7th house rules your relationships. Okay, your partnerships, the people that we deal with, our relationships on a daily basis. So, or any agreements as well, or the people who you expect to stand with you in hard times. So Ketu, this headless body, is sitting there, and Ketu tends to remove illusions. So it makes us question things we used to accept without thinking. So one theme of this 7-year cycle is likely to be asking yourself who and what truly belongs in your life. Okay, that doesn't mean relationships start failing or anything. It means you become much less willing to tolerate relationships that don't feel genuine. Okay, the second thing I notice is that you're currently running the Ketu moon period. So Ketu is the main period and moon is the second period, and this moon is your emotions, your mind, and everything, and this period ends around 2020, this month, June 19th. It's ending on the 19th of June. Yeah, this is important because moon rules your 12th house and it sits in your 11th house. So the 12th house is connected to sleep, isolation, healing, foreign places, spirituality, letting go of things that have run their course. Okay, so if the last few months have felt emotionally like heavier than normal, or if you found yourself reflecting more on your friendships, and your goals, your family, your finances, or life in general, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, sometimes moon period don't bring obvious problems. Okay, sometimes they simply make you feel things very deeply. Okay, it is a difficult time, I would say, and this moon period is ending on June 19th, and you may have noticed that these things which used to excite you, it don't quite hit the same anymore. And you may have noticed yourself becoming more selective with your time and energy. Okay, and the good good news is that this moon period is nearly finished. Okay, once you move into Ketu Mars after the June 19th, the energy will change significantly. Mars tend to be more action oriented. Okay, so instead of sitting with a problem, you start wanting to solve the problem. Okay, and instead of overthinking, you start moving fast. That's why I think the second half of 2026 will look noticeably much better than the first half. Okay, your Jupiter just entered Cancer. Okay, and for your chart, this place, your Jupiter is in your 12th house now. So immediately, a lot of these astrologers, whoever you speak to, will call this a bad transit. Okay, I don't think so. I've seen this transit work in very quiet ways. Okay, people heal. People finally, they start resting. You start traveling. People reconnect with your spiritual side. Okay, people will close chapters that have been draining you for many, many years. And the benefit isn't always visible to everyone else, but you will feel it, at least by the end of the transit. Okay, so if you're expecting like fireworks and victory and all this stuff, this may not be the kind of transit that you're looking for. Okay, but if you're hoping for more peace, more clarity, less like emotional weight, I think Jupiter can help with that. So the area I would watch most closely over the next year is your relationship and your social circles, because I think it's not because something bad is going to happen, but because Ketu will often show us who genuinely belongs in our lives. Okay. Some friendships are going to drift. Some relationships may become much stronger. Some people are going to leave your life, okay? And either way, you'll probably end up with fewer but more meaningful connections. So Kenneth, if I had to summarize your chart in one sentence, it would be this. You're in a period of simplifying or simplification, okay? It's not like the distraction. It's just that it seems like things are just getting out. Life is removing distractions, outdated expectations out of your life. Okay, this unnecessary noise, so you can focus on what actually matters. And the first major turning point is on June 19th, when the Ketu moon sign ends. Okay, from there I would expect things to gradually become much more productive. But overall, I would say Ketu period is very, very, very difficult. It actually teaches us a lot, a big lesson in life. So I would say you'll have to hang in there till 2030. Okay, Kenneth? All the best, man. I read your chart, and from the details that you gave, I get Taurus ascendant, your sun is in Pisces, and your moon is in Scorpio. So if you want to watch astrology videos, I would say watch Scorpio moon videos or Taurus videos, okay? I've gone through your chart, and I'm actually going to be honest with you, right? Your chart is actually stronger than I expected based on what you just described. I see Jupiter exalted. Mars is in its own sign. Mercury is in its own sign. Okay? It's a very strong chart. And I don't immediately see constant failure from 2014. Okay? I've analyzed a D10 chart as well. Okay? Now, there are a few things that could explain struggle that maybe, I'm not sure, because I was trying to understand where the struggle could happen. When I look at Jupiter, okay, despite being exalted, it sits in the 8th house, which can bring financial ups and downs. It can bring sudden changes, okay, periods where your life forced you to rebuild itself. Your moon as the 8th house lord can also create gains followed by losses, instability around income. I also think some difficult time periods may have amplified these things, okay? What I don't see is permanent failure or permanently losing things, losses, ongoing losses. In fact, one of the reasons I'm quite optimistic is about this chart is that because your chart has several strong planets that usually help a person recover after a setback. And if you've genuinely been struggling, I would be more inclined to blame the timing rather than a weak chart, okay? And from what I can see, late 2026 into 2027 looks noticeably much more supportive than the years you've been through. You're running the Ketu Mahadasha from December 2021, and it is going to be till December of 2028. Ketu is sitting in your 8th house alongside a very strong sun in Leo, and that's not a dasha that usually rewards chasing status. Okay, it's not going to reward you for chasing recognition or any external validation. Okay, in fact, what I think you may be overlooking is that this period isn't trying to help you become more of who you are. Okay, it's trying to strip away parts of your identity that no longer fit you. Okay, and also looking at a chart, you actually have some very strong placements. Your Venus is in its own sign. In the 10th house, your Mercury is strong in Virgo and a Capricorn ascendant. This is the chart of someone who can build, you can organize, you can teach, you can create systems, you can become highly skilled. Okay, but the only issue is the Ketu in the 8th house, which creates a strange feeling where even if you achieve something, it doesn't feel as satisfying as you expected. So if you're asking what you're overlooking, I'd say this. You may still be trying to solve Ketu's lessons through worldly achievements, when Ketu is asking you to transform internally. Okay, the more you chase certainty, okay, the more Ketu will try to take it away from you. Actually, won't try; it'll just take it away from you. The more you chase it, this illusion, right? Ketu is gonna like take it away from you. Okay, the more you focus on your, knowledge, your mastery of something, like your understanding of your own self, the more this time period will cooperate with you. Okay, the good news is you're currently in Ketu Jupiter. Of all the subperiods inside Ketu Mahadasha, Jupiter is usually one of the more helpful subperiods, because in your case Jupiter is in the 3rd house and also it's the 12th house lord. Looking ahead, I think the biggest shift comes from when this Ketu Mahadasha will end, which is going to be in December 2028. And that's when you move into Venus Mahadasha. And honestly, the Venus sitting in its own sign in the 10th house, that's the period that looks far more aligned with career growth, visibility, reputation, creativity, enjoying the rewards of your work. Okay, so I don't think you're overlooking an opportunity here. Okay, I think you're overlooking a lesson. The dasha is trying to change you who you are before it changes what you have. Okay, I hope that made sense. The theme is learning to trust your own path, even when life takes unexpected turns. Thank you for the comment. I had a quick look at your chart. You are a Taurus ascendant, and the first thing that stands out is actually your chart is much stronger than most of the people, okay, I've seen. You have exalted Venus, your ascendant lord, which is one of the strongest placements in this chart. And this kind of gives you resilience, creativity, a good taste, ability to recover even after difficult periods. Okay, you're running a Mercury Mahadasha and a Venus Antardasha, and Mercury rules your money, your self-expression, while Venus rules you. Okay, so the big theme here is rebuilding value. Okay, whether it's financial value, your own confidence, relationships, a skill that can generate income, could be any one of them. Okay, I also noticed that there's a heavy 10th house influence with Sun, Mercury, and Ketu. Okay, and this often creates someone who questions their career path. Okay, you may have periods where you feel disconnected from work. Okay, even if you're successful at it. Okay, and the biggest, if there's a lesson here, I would say is it's not about working hard. Okay, it's about recognizing what you're naturally good at. Okay, and not constantly reinventing yourself every time doubt happens or you have doubt in yourself. So overall, this looks like a chart entering a rebuilding phase.